All right, let's kick it off here. I think I've got, how much time do I have? Let's make
So
sure that
you're not that bad. We've got like 25 minutes or so.
Oh, perfect. All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and we'll rock through a few slides here, and then we'll jump into the demo. I'll
Yes.
introduce myself. My name is Jesse Offner. I'm a sales engineer here at Telemetry Jobvite, and I'll be walking us through a part of the telemetry solution, which really is focused on helping our clients source talent from across the web, mostly focused on looking at their internal databases, but also tools to be able to look externally as well. A few slides just sort of set the context of the conversation today, right? We're hearing today, even in the business climate, that sourcing is not getting any hard or not getting any easier, right? We know that 67% of recruiters are still struggling to find the talent that the business needs in order to achieve its mission and its goals. And even in the era of COVID, we're still hearing that close to 50% of job seekers are open to opportunities. So it's no time to sit back and say, yeah, people have a job, they're not looking elsewhere. We know that we have to continually be sourcing and looking for talent. And in that context, right, it's not getting any simpler for organizations to be able to provide their recruiters with the tools that they need. And we've seen over the last decade, right? And I'm sure you've seen this, you're aware of this. You're talking with folks every day, trying to vet their solutions, trying to make sure that that your followers have the best information, because we've seen the stack proliferate. And even with that, Josh Bersin has and Deloitte has surveyed recruiters, and they're still saying, hey, like a bunch of us, close to over 90% of recruiters are still saying our processes and our technology stacks have not kept up. Or what they've done is they went out and you've bought a whole bunch of different tools, and now those solutions are not integrated, right? They're not talking with one another. The data is siloed. And so TA teams are going to battle for talent, and they have tools that don't talk to one another. They're fragmented with their systems and with their data. And another stat that comes out of Josh Bersin is that on average, large corporations now have 9 different systems, right? And of course, these systems aren't necessarily talking to one another, or you're doing some type of manual data moving between the systems, right? And so that's why you end up with 94% of recruiters saying they don't have the right processes in order to be able to hit their goals. And it's getting even worse now when you think about what has happened to our budgets. They've been slashed, or we're definitely not buying new tech, so make it work the way that it is. But then they're not funding those things that need to take place in order to build that holistic type of TA tech stack. And so again, as a result of all of this, we see TA teams that are suffering. And so they're working with an incomplete solution. We have processes that are limited by, again, whether it's the systems are not integrated, or the data isn't siloed, or they can't get the data in real time, which leads to an inability to track what's really effective, what's working really well versus what's not. HR has worked really hard since I would argue, the late 90s, early 2000s to start getting more seats at the executive table. And now that they're there, they're still struggling because they're not being funded in the same way that other functions of the business are. So they don't have the data. And so when you're sitting around with everybody having access to real-time data and dashboards, and you as an HR leader saying, well, we got this report from last quarter, and people are looking at you like, wait a minute, no, we want this in real time. We want to know, and then we want predictive analytics to tell us what to do next and what's going to happen if we take, strategy A or strategy B, C, D, etc. So again, this is where we see the world, where we see at Jobvite Telemetry in terms of what's happened to the TA function. It's expanded, right? And it's gone horizontally. So now we have recruitment marketing, which continues to evolve in terms of its maturity. We talk about that with our evolved methodology, but just overall in general, the folks are starting to get more experience. So we have dedicated roles that people can come into, right? We're talking about managing applicants. We have our new hire in our onboarding, and then that goes post hire to our internal mobility and our employee referral programs. And we're focused again today on the sourcing component of the solution, just knowing that telemetry and Jobvite offer solutions that go across this entire spectrum. So let's jump in here to my demo, get into the actual solution here. So talking about the ability to source and find talent. So what you have here is, and what you're looking at is the telemetry, source, and CRM, okay? And I'm right here as a sourcer or a recruiter. You're going to come into telemetry. And again, I think it's important before I start doing any of my pointing and clicking to help you understand that what you're typically looking at is everybody that you know, right? So we have bi-directional API integrations with most all of the major applicant tracking systems, and as well as the HRIS systems as well that are in the marketplace today, so that we're able to bring over all of your past applicants, your current employees. We can build repositories for talent networks, right? And so all of these sit in that same database, right? So a single database to run all of your searches against, to find exactly what you're looking for using tools that we've built into our system. So again, if you come in here and you want to start your search, I'm going to run a search today just using our default search tools. But if you come in here, and I know that there are folks that are on the line that are watching today that they could care less about what semantic technology you have. They're dedicated to their Boolean strings, and I've already heard it mentioned a couple times today. And so we do give you the ability to run those searches in our platform against your database, but the default engine is, again, a semantic knowledge base. So I'll pull up an example here. Of course, you can save any search that you create, and you come in and you'll see, notice that, again, here's my search title. You'll see here's our database of related job titles, again, so that we're not just looking for a keyword match. We're not just matching strings. We're actually looking at the job titles and their relationships, so that we're surfacing, again, the most relevant profiles for you that you're looking for, again, based on what you're putting in here. You are able to search across a multitude of different locations, and you can get as granular as zip code, or you can go as wide as country, and you can go beyond just searching anybody that's in the United States. This is a global tool. We have our global, large global clients that are running CRM to help build their TA teams and their recruiting function, right? We can see our keywords, the ability to add keywords into our searches, and the ability to weight these keywords according to your hiring manager's preferences, right? And we all know that you could be recruiting the same position, but two different hiring managers, and they're going to have different preferences in terms of what skills are going to be required versus what are important or what is nice to have. So again, the ability to weight those keywords differently, I think, is a really good and strong way to make sure that your results that you're finding are in line with your client. In this case, I would refer to the client as the hiring manager. We have also the ability to do things like find related keywords as well, so I could add these to my search if I'm perhaps not as familiar with a technology or a skill. I can find some other skills that might be important to have, and then again add them to my search. Now, what you will also see here, I'm going to quickly run the search again, is that I'm able to search beyond just the folks that I know in my database. I can search Indeed, I could search LinkedIn. I'm not sure why that's failing here, but usually there you would get your number here of individuals that meet this criteria. And in order to change those filters, I can simply switch to here to Indeed, And again, this is not just Indeed that we have relationships with. We have relationships with all the major job boards that are out there and resume databases. So it's really easy, again, if you have a commercial relationship with those vendors, to be able to add them here to your search target. And again, those are as easy as just adding a click. Those are pre-built existing integrations. The other, and you'll see here again, this is where my filters are switching between my database here of folks that I know versus anybody that I don't know. Now, the other thing I like to point out here is that within telemetry, we give you a deep set of filters that you can utilize in order to fine grain your results and find exactly what you're looking for. So again, here, we're talking about audience types. So audience types are tags that are going to be added to different candidate populations. These can be automatically added as part of that integration when we're pulling candidates over from a specific source, right? And again, these audience tags allow us to make sure that we are fine graining our results, finding the right population of talent, and then being able to remarket to them to communicate them with contextually relevant messages. We're not just going to simply spam everybody that we know that might have the right keywords. We want to be able to speak to individuals differently in order to drive engagement with the material, and then of course get them to convert or take a step, whether it's emailing us back or whether it's driving them to a job description so that they can view it and then potentially go and apply. There's a lot of different pathways to conversion that we can set up. You'll see here that we're able to add, additional filters so that I can search based on when a profile might have been added, a degree level. I want to point out here this life cycle state filter. So again, we're not talking about just necessarily looking for folks to fill a role that are purely passive. We might want to look internally for talent. And that's why we're able to, again, because of that integration with our tagging, I can say, hey, if somebody's a current employee, again, because hypothetically we've brought that data into our CRM, we can say, keep them out of the search. I don't want to send them marketing emails, right? I don't want to send them text messages because, again, they're internal talent. I want to speak very carefully to somebody that's internal versus somebody that's external, right? Of course, because there can be all different types of cultural ramifications by reaching out to internal talent. If you haven't built that type of culture where you're actively trying to move people into different roles, then hiring managers, of course, will see that. Like, why are you trying to poach my team? I built my team. I've worked for 2 years to get this team. Now you're trying to take my star performers and give them to another hiring manager. So those are cultural considerations, and we want to be mindful of that, again, when we're trying to find that initial set of candidates that we want to reach out to. And again, in addition to these filters, we have a broad set of other filters that we can apply to be able to find the right type of talent, and custom fields and filters as well available for searching inside of our database. And once we fine-grained our results, one of the things that we want to be able to do with our tool is automation, right? We know that our time is limited today. We know that our resources are limited today, right, in COVID, and even going on beyond COVID, when we think about, what is it going to look like when we come out of this, when, hopefully there's a vaccine that is effective, hopefully enough people take it for it to be effective, and then when we start going back to work and actually into physical offices, how is that going to change, right? Well, one thing that's not going to change, I don't think we're not going to get more resources. We're going to have to continue to do a lot with less, and so that's where automation becomes your frame. And if you've been paying attention to Jobvite telemetry, over the past 6 months, we've accelerated our move into adding artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation into our platform with our acquisition of Predictive Partner. We're really excited about some of the tools that are going to come out of that. But what we really see today is the ability to automate. So if you think about running a search like this, and whether this is a Java developer or any other type of position that you're recruiting for in an ongoing basis, one of the things that I believe, right, is that just like in sourcing or sales or any type of activity where you have to consistently be reaching out to individuals, keeping your pipeline full. When you go 2 or 3 or 4 days without sourcing or looking at your database, you can miss things that change. And again, in today's rapidly changing environment in which candidates may be on the marketplace for only a few days, again, if these are your top talent, if something changes with somebody's profile, you want to know. But again, you could have every intention of coming in every single day, running that same search or multiple searches, working on your requisitions. But we all know that hiring managers are going to pull you into an intake meeting. You're going to have some type of status request, or you're going to have a request that's going to come from your leadership saying, hey, we need a report really quick. Looks like you have some time. Can you go ahead and work on this for me? And then all of a sudden your day is blown up, and your day might lead to 2 or 3 days before you get back in and can run these searches. So auto searches can really become your friend. So what we're able to do here with any search that we create is then turn this into an auto search. So by turning this onto an auto search, I have the ability to decide where this is going to go. So I can add this directly to folder. And if I have a folder available, I can already put it in that folder. I can create a new folder from scratch. That might be in an instance where I'm pipelining for future opportunities. But again, because we have our integration with the applicant tracking system, we're also pulling in all of your open requisitions. And so you could pipeline directly to a job if that's something that you're working on. You have the ability to also add tags or notes automatically. So when this search gets run every single day and a couple times a day against your database, we will find anybody that's new or anybody that has changed, and then we will automatically give them a tag. So in this case, we're talking about Java or Python, and then as well any notes that you want. So we might want to make sure that this is saying, hey, this is a job seeker that was found via auto search. And then the last piece of this auto search that is important is being able to manage those external databases that you might want to be searching. So in this example, right, we're talking about also looking at Indeed every day. Has anything changed? Has anybody new added or changed their profile? And we can automatically then download them if they meet our criteria, and again, put them into that folder. Inside of our folders, we have automated messaging to go out. So the minute that they're added to that folder, they will get a message from me. And again, that call to action can be, go to our website, look at this job, send us a text message. All of those things can take place. And again, once this is set up, that's taking place every single day, you're saving yourself time. You're not logging into Indeed or any of these other external databases, but you're getting the advantage of being able to look at them to make sure you're not missing anybody. So that's from a high level. We're able to do things once you found those searches, for example, like selecting individuals here and sending them an email, right? So I can email everybody that's selected. Anything I can do from a mass perspective or a one-to-one perspective are ways that we can help, again, drive applications, drive interest. If I want to as well, I could send a text message to all of these individuals. We have drip messaging for text as well, and we are really excited about releasing drip messaging and marketing for email later this year. So again, that's a high level of the sourcing things that we can do. We're integrated with tools like Zap Info, Seekout. Those are tools which we know are getting a lot of traction because one of the questions that is probably, if it hasn't been asked already, is like, well, can you search LinkedIn from this, right?
Yeah.
If that's not in the chat window, Ryan, I would be
Well,
shocked.
it is, and then you just answered a couple of the other questions around drip messaging, campaigning. So those questions by the end of the year, right? We'll hold you to that. But we do have, I think we have a couple questions that we could answer here quickly.
Yeah.
Let's take two. Can you explain quickly the difference between tags and lists? They had listed in folders in parentheses. So I guess where on the screen there where it shows folders, and then you were talking about tags and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. So so we have a couple of different levels of tags. So of course, tags are just are one way of creating a list. So you could search for, you could come in here, right? And with our filters, you could find, let's see, where's my tag option here to search based on tags. think I have to go up here and find this. Yes. So if I wanted to go back in and find, anybody that's been tagged a certain way, I can use that tag to, again, pull them back up, or a combination of different tags. Our tags can be free form, so you as an organization can let every recruiter put whatever tag they want, although I don't think that's a great way of doing it, because then you end up with just a proliferation of tags, and it makes it harder to actually go back later and pull a meaningful result. But you can also lock those down from an administrative stuff, so you're making sure that you're
Right.
using a uniform set of tags. And then, of course, that's one way of creating a list. Our audience tags are a higher level grouping. So you could say, for example, we want diversity, and we're tagging those individuals that are coming through a diversity channel. And then we use individual skill tags to be able to later on come back and find like your diversity account that has Sarbanes-Oxley experience because you're a public company. The folders are just a way of, again, another way of storing that information for coming back for later. But within the folders, the big advantage of those lists is that you have stages within the folders. So if I go to any one of my folders here, I can actually segment that folder based on somebody that's new, somebody that has come in. I can set up these folders in a lot of different ways, whether we've reviewed them or first interview, and these can be configured around the stages that you as an organization has set. These are not limited to what we have set.
Okay. And one last question, and this one should be kind of a quick one here. Are we able to track who is applying from the emails that we are sending?
Absolutely, yes. So we have a full set of analytics for recording and tracking and being able to see in real time what's taking place, so that you can understand how effective certain emails are. You can do A/B testing, and again, everything's being tracked, so you can say, hey, this email with this subject line, it works better for these individuals versus those other individuals around. So yeah, all of that's available.
Fantastic. Awesome. Jesse, thank you so much. And so for everybody who's on the call, you'll get this in an email as well. And we've dropped it into the chat boxes there. So you guys have a free download for everybody. It's 7 ways to attract, engage, and convert diverse candidates. So that link is in the chat. You'll get it in email. Again, just click the link. You'll get the immediate download. You don't have to go through a game of registrations and all that stuff. So you'll get that right away. Awesome.
Perfect.
Jesse, thank you so much. This has been really good. Sorry for the confusion in the very beginning, but we're good. We got everything in. And
Yes.
we're back on track here. We got Glenn and Deb. If you haven't met these two, you're going to want to maybe after the call, jump on a call with them and talk shop with them. They're great people to know. So
Excellent. Well, thanks. Appreciate it, Ryan. Have a good day. Everybody stay safe.
thank you. We'll talk to you soon.